All right, I have beveled my edges with my bevel cutter, and now I'm going to score each of those beveled edges and prepare them so that they can be joined together. Do some scoring here, rough it up pretty good. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is bring them together. I'm gonna stand this up. And your clay has to really be in the plastic stage for this to work. Otherwise, your clay is gonna pop, 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 pop. It's gonna come right apart, which is super frustrating for students, especially because this is their first time making a slab cylinder and they get really impatient quickly. So you guys have to be real mindful that you have to take your time with it. Right, and so I'm just adding some slip here, and now I'm going to join those two pieces together. And as I join those together, I'm just being mindful that I'm shaping it still. And I'm also trying to get this to where it is going to stay together and be nice and consistent on the inside and the outside. So again, if I tried to do this when my clay is even just a little bit dry, not gonna work. It's gonna crack, it's gonna make people really, really frustrated. So the cylinders have to be built pretty quickly as opposed to building with a slab box, which, doesn't have to be when your clay is super wet like this. Now you can see I'm going over where I already rolled on some texture. No big deal. I'm going to roll back over that in just a little bit. And now I'm just going over these seams with my hands and pushing them together, kind of sliding them in opposite directions. So my hand on the inside is sliding one direction and my hand on the outside is sliding a different direction, an opposing direction. And I'm trying to get rid of that seam on the inside and the outside. Right now, I'm not too worried about the shape of my cylinder. I'm going to adjust that a little bit later. One of the things that you're doing is just making sure that that seam stays together. Now, I know a lot of people use like a mold or something to hold the shape. I have not found that to be entirely useful just for me. I find that this is very successful as long as you bevel your edges. That bevel tool is critical in helping those seams to overlap and stay together. So now I'm just getting rid of that seam best I can, just using my hand. You can use a rib tool also. And what I'll do is on the inside, I'm going to go ahead and use my rib tool to smooth out that seam. I'm putting a little pressure on that seam and pulling off any extra clay. Okay, and that seam stayed together pretty nicely, even though I put a lot of pressure on that wall. And I'm just going to go over that with my finger and smooth it out. You also notice that I flip my cylinder, up, go back and forth because working on different sides is an important thing to do to help make sure that it is getting shaped and smooth together as best as possible. All right, next thing I'm going to do is be able to go over that entire thing with my texture ball so that I won't be able to see that seam anymore. If you have any wet slip, that texture ball is going to stick to it. So you want to be mindful of that. And now I'm going to flip it over again and apply that texture. I may have to go over that again when it's not got some fresh wet clay on top of it. That slip does become very sticky. So it gives it kind of a sticky look. All right, now I have a pretty nice cylinder going here. And this is just the start. I'll still add little windows and details. And now I'm going to turn my camera so that you can see the two pieces together. My intention is to have a total of 3 cylinders, so I look forward to showing you them come together.